Admiral Jake Morrison sat in his office high above the Earth. Through the large window, he could see the blue planet spinning slowly below. On his desk, a strange message waited for him. The message came from space, from aliens called the Zephyrians. Jake had gray hair and tired eyes. He had been fighting wars for 30 years. The scars on his hands told stories of battles in space. Today felt different. The aliens wanted to talk about peace. Captain Lisa Brooks walked into the room. She was young but smart. Her job was to watch for danger and lies. Lisa did not trust anyone easily. "Admiral, this message makes me worried," Lisa said. She pointed at the floating words above his desk. "The Zephyrians have been attacking our colonies for 3 years. Now they want peace? Something is wrong," Jake nodded. He felt the same way. The Zephyrians were big and strong. They ruled 12 different star systems. Their ships were fast and their weapons were powerful. Why would they want peace now? Colonel Ryan Murphy came through the door. He carried a small computer in his hands. Ryan was in charge of finding out secrets about the enemy. His job was to know what aliens were doing before they did it. "Sir, I have bad news," Ryan said. His face looked serious. "Our spy ships near Kepler Station saw something strange. The Zephyrians are moving lots of warships there, big ones. They say these ships are for honor, but I think they lie." Kepler Station was where the aliens wanted to meet. It was far from Earth, in empty space between the stars. The station was supposed to be safe for both sides. Jake stood up and walked to the window. Below him, he could see spaceships leaving Earth. Some carried food to the colonies. Others brought back metals and rare stones. This was what they were fighting for. This was what the aliens wanted to take. "How many ships did you see?" Jake asked. "More than 200, Ryan answered. "Maybe 300. They are hiding behind the big moon near Kepler Station." Lisa shook her head. "Admiral, this is a trap. They want us to come with just a few ships. Then they will attack and kill us all." Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a man who had seen many tricks before. "Lisa, you are right. This is a trap," he said. "But they do not know something important about humans." "What is that, sir?" Ryan asked. "We never go anywhere without being ready for a fight." Jake walked back to his desk. He pressed a button and more people appeared on his screen. These were his best officers from all over the Earth. Some were on the moon. Others were on Mars. All of them were waiting for his orders. "Ladies and gentlemen," Jake said to the screen, "the Zephyrians want to meet us at Kepler Station. They say they want peace. Our spies say they are bringing a big fleet to kill us." One of the officers on the screen spoke up. It was Captain Kate Williams. She commanded the biggest warship in the human fleet. "What are your orders, Admiral?" "We are going to that meeting," Jake said. "But we are not going like sheep to be killed. We are going like wolves." Another officer asked, "How many ships should we bring?" Jake looked at Lisa and Ryan. Then he looked back at the screen. "All of them." The room went quiet. All of them meant the entire human fleet. Every warship, every fighter, every weapon they had. "Sir," Captain Williams said slowly, "that is more than 500 ships. The aliens will see us coming from very far away." Jake's smile got bigger. "Kate, who said anything about letting them see us?" Ryan began to understand. "You want to use the new hiding technology." "That is right," Jake said. "Dr. Sam Carter finished his work last month. Now our ships can hide in space like ghosts. The aliens will think they are meeting a small group. Instead, they will meet our entire fleet." Lisa started to smile too. "Admiral, this could work. But what about the peace talks? Should we still try to make a deal?" Jake thought for a moment. Outside his window, a transport ship was leaving Earth. It carried families moving to a new colony. Those families trusted him to keep them safe. "We will talk about peace," Jake said. "But peace only works when both sides want it. The Zephyrians do not want peace. They want to trick us and then kill us, so we will give them a different kind of surprise." He turned to Ryan. "Colonel, I want you to send a message back to the aliens. Tell them we accept their invitation. Tell them we will bring just one ship with diplomats on it." "Just one ship, sir?" Ryan asked. "That is what we will tell them. They do not need to know about the other 499 ships that will be hiding nearby." Captain Williams spoke from the screen. "Admiral, when do we leave?" "Tomorrow," Jake said. "I want every ship ready to fight. Load the best weapons, bring our strongest soldiers, and make sure Dr. Carter's new hiding devices work perfectly." Lisa asked, "What if something goes wrong? What if they detect our hidden fleet?" Jake walked to a picture on his wall. It showed Earth from space, blue and beautiful. Lisa, humans have been surviving for thousands of years. We survived ice ages, wars, diseases, and disasters. We did not get this far by trusting people who want to hurt us. He turned back to face his officers. The Zephyrians think humans are weak because we talk about peace. They think we are easy targets because we try to be fair. They are about to learn that being peaceful and being weak are two very different things. Ryan closed his computer. Sir, should I tell our people on the colonies about this? Tell them to be ready, Jake said. If this goes wrong, the war will get bigger. But if this goes right, the war might end. The meeting was over. The officers left to prepare their ships and soldiers. Soon Lisa and Jake were alone in the office. Admiral, Lisa said quietly. Are you sure about this? We are risking everything. Jake looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien ships were moving into position. They thought they were setting a trap for humans. They had no idea that humans had been setting traps since they first learned to hunt. Lisa, he said, my grandfather used to say something. He said that if you want peace, you have to prepare for war. The Zephyrians are about to learn why that saying is still true. Tomorrow, the human fleet would leave for Kepler Station. The aliens thought they were getting easy prey. Instead, they were going to meet the descendants of Earth's greatest survivors. The next morning, space around Earth looked like a busy city. Hundreds of ships moved in every direction. Some were big warships with thick armor and powerful guns. Others were smaller, faster ships meant for carrying fighters and supplies. Commander Alex Turner stood on the loading dock of the UES Defiance. This ship was one of the biggest in the human fleet. Its guns could destroy a small moon. Today, workers were loading it with enough weapons to fight a small war. Careful with those plasma torpedoes, Alex called out to the workers. Drop one and we will all become space dust. The workers moved slowly and carefully. Each torpedo was as big as a car and could blow up an entire alien ship. The Defiance would carry 200 of them. Captain Kate Williams walked up to Alex. She had been commanding warships for 15 years. Her hair was black with some gray lines. Her eyes were sharp and missed nothing. Commander, how many weapons can we fit on this ship? Kate asked. Alex looked at his computer. Numbers and pictures showed how much space they had left. We can carry 50 more torpedoes, Captain. Plus the new quantum cannons Dr. Carter made. Kate smiled. The quantum cannons were a secret weapon. They could shoot through enemy shields like they were made of paper. The aliens had never seen anything like them. Load them all, Kate said. If we are going to surprise the Zephyrians, we might as well give them a really big surprise. On the other side of Earth, Dr. Sam Carter was working in his laboratory. Sam was young but very smart. He had created many new weapons for the human fleet. His latest invention was special mines that could hide in space. The mines looked like small rocks. Enemy ships would fly past them and never know they were there. When the time was right, the mines would explode and tear holes in alien ships. Lieutenant Amy Johnson walked into the lab. Amy was in charge of making sure all the weapons worked correctly. She had red hair and green eyes that sparkled when she was excited about something. Dr. Carter, are the quantum mines ready? Amy asked. Sam pointed to a large box in the corner. Inside were hundreds of small gray objects. They are finished, Lieutenant. Each one can destroy a ship as big as our cruisers. Amy picked up one of the mines. It felt heavy and cold. How do they work? Simple, Sam said. We put them in space near where the aliens will be. They look like space rocks, so nobody pays attention to them. When we send the right signal, they all explode at the same time. That sounds very dangerous, Amy said. Sam laughed. Lieutenant, we are going to fight aliens who want to kill us all. Everything we do is dangerous. Across the solar system on Mars, Colonel Pete Davis was preparing his soldiers. Pete was a big man with muscles like steel. He had fought in wars on 3 different planets. His soldiers trusted him because he always brought them home alive. The soldiers were putting on their battle armor. This armor was not like the old metal armor from ancient times. It was made of special materials that could stop alien weapons. Each suit had computers that helped soldiers aim better and move faster. Listen up, Marines, Pete called out to his soldiers. We are going on a peace mission. But peace missions can become shooting missions very quickly. One of the soldiers raised his hand. Sir, how many of us are going? 3,000, Pete answered. The aliens think we are bringing a few diplomats. They do not know we are bringing an entire army. Another soldier asked. What if the aliens detect us, Colonel? Pete's face became serious. Then we will show them why human soldiers are the best in the galaxy. We have been fighting wars since we lived in caves. The Zephyrians have only been fighting for a few hundred years. Meanwhile, on a space station near Jupiter, Captain Joe Martinez was loading his ship with special equipment. Joe was responsible for protecting the human diplomats. His job was to make sure they stayed alive no matter what happened. The equipment included force fields, communication devices, and emergency transport systems. If the peace talks went wrong, Joe could get the diplomats away from danger in just a few seconds. Captain Martinez, one of his crew members, called out, "The diplomatic shuttle is ready. Should we paint it to look more peaceful?" Joe thought about this. "No, leave it the way it is. I want the aliens to see that even our peaceful ships have weapons." Back on Earth, Admiral Morrison was in the command center. Giant screens showed him where every human ship was located. Red dots showed the alien ships near Kepler Station. Blue dots showed the human ships getting ready to leave. Captain Williams appeared on one of the screens. "Admiral, the fleet is ready to leave. All ships have the new hiding technology installed." "Good," Jake said. "Remember, we want the aliens to think they are meeting just a few humans. Our main fleet will hide behind the asteroid field near Kepler Station." "What about weapons, sir?" Kate asked. "Bring everything," Jake answered. "Plasma cannons, quantum torpedoes, particle beams, and those new gravity bombs Dr. Carter invented." Another officer spoke up from a different screen. "Admiral, what if the aliens really do want peace?" Jake was quiet for a moment. He had asked himself the same question many times. If they really want peace, then they will not have 300 warships hiding behind a moon. "But our spies say they do have those ships, so we will be ready for war." Dr. Carter appeared on another screen. "Admiral, the quantum mines are loaded on Transport Ship 7. We can deploy them around Kepler Station before the meeting starts." "Perfect," Jake said. "How long before they are in position?" 6 hours after we arrive," Sam answered. "The aliens will never see them." Lieutenant Amy Johnson appeared next to Dr. Carter. "Sir, all weapons are tested and ready. The new hiding technology works perfectly. We tested it yesterday and our own sensors could not detect the hidden ships." Jake felt proud of his people. In just one day, they had prepared for the biggest battle in human history. Every person had done their job perfectly. "Ladies and gentlemen," Jake said to all the screens, "in 12 hours we will meet the Zephyrians at Kepler Station. They think they are setting a trap for us. They think humans are weak and easy to defeat." He paused and looked at each face on the screens. These were good people. They had families and children back on Earth. They were fighting to protect everything they loved. "The aliens are about to learn something important," Jake continued. "Humans did not become the rulers of Earth by being weak. We became rulers by being smarter, tougher, and more prepared than anything that tried to kill us." Captain Williams smiled. "Admiral, what should we do if the aliens surrender?" "Accept their surrender," Jake said. "But make sure they understand that if they ever threaten humans again, next time we will not be so nice." The screens went dark. All across the solar system, human ships began moving toward Kepler Station. To anyone watching, it looked like just a small diplomatic mission. A few ships carrying people who wanted to talk about peace. Hidden inside those ships were enough weapons to destroy entire planets. Hidden nearby were hundreds more ships with thousands of soldiers ready for battle. The Zephyrians thought they were hunters setting a trap for prey. They had no idea that the prey had teeth and claws of their own. In a few hours, they would learn that humans had not forgotten how to be predators. Kepler Station floated in the darkness between stars. It was a large metal structure built for meetings between different species. Today, it would become the most important place in the galaxy. Ambassador Helen Foster sat across from High Commander Vex Thule in the station's main conference room. Helen was an older woman with silver hair and kind eyes. But behind those kind eyes was a sharp mind that had negotiated treaties with dozens of alien species. Vex Thule looked like a giant lizard that had learned to walk on 2 legs. His skin was green and covered with scales. His eyes were yellow and cold. When he smiled, sharp teeth showed in his mouth. "Ambassador Foster," Vex Thule said in his strange voice, "your species has made a wise choice. This peace treaty will save many human lives." Helen looked at the papers on the table. The treaty was written in both human and Zephyrian languages. She had read it carefully. It was not really a peace treaty. It was a surrender document. "High Commander," Helen said politely, "some of these terms seem very harsh. You want us to give up half of our colonies?" Vex Thule laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. Ambassador, you are in no position to negotiate. Your species is weak. We are strong. Be grateful we are offering you anything at all. Behind Helen, Captain Joe Martinez stood quietly. Joe was tall and strong with dark hair and serious eyes. His hand rested near the weapon on his belt. He was ready to protect Helen if the aliens tried to hurt her. Perhaps we should take more time to read this treaty, Helen said. Some parts are confusing. Vexthul's eyes became angry. There is nothing confusing about it. Your species will obey or be destroyed. Those are your only choices. Outside the station, space looked empty and peaceful, but looks can lie. Hidden behind a nearby moon, 300 Zephyrian warships waited in silence. Each ship was loaded with weapons designed to kill humans. Admiral Kextar commanded the alien fleet from his flagship. He was even bigger than Vexthul, with scars covering his face from old battles. Today he expected an easy victory. All ships prepare to attack, Kextar ordered. The humans think they are here for peace talks. They have no idea what is about to happen. His officers moved quickly around the bridge. Weapons were powered up. Shields were raised. Every ship in the fleet was ready to destroy the small human convoy. Sir, one of the officers said, our sensors show only 5 human ships near the station. This will be easier than we thought. Kextar smiled, showing teeth like knives. Humans are fools. They actually believed we wanted peace. On the bridge of the UES Defiance, Admiral Morrison sat in his command chair. He was drinking coffee from a metal cup. To anyone watching, he looked calm and relaxed. Admiral, Captain Williams said quietly, the alien fleet is moving into position. 300 ships, just like our spies said. Jake nodded. Right on time. Are our ships ready? Yes, sir. 500 ships are hidden and waiting for your orders. Jake looked at the main screen. It showed Kepler Station floating peacefully in space. He could see the 5 human ships that the aliens thought were their entire delegation. Excellent, Jake said. Signal all ships. Tell them to be ready but stay hidden. Let the aliens think they have surprised us. Meanwhile, Dr. Carter was on one of the hidden ships. He was watching his computer screen carefully. The quantum mines he had placed around the station were invisible to alien sensors. Lieutenant Johnson, Sam said to Amy, the mines are in perfect position. When we activate them, they will hit the alien ships from all directions. Amy smiled. Dr. Carter, how long will it take to destroy their entire fleet? About 30 seconds, Sam answered. Maybe less. Back in the conference room, tension was growing. Vexthul was becoming impatient. Helen was asking too many questions about the treaty. Ambassador, Vexthul growled, you are wasting time. Sign the treaty now or face the consequences. Helen looked at her watch. It was almost time. High Commander, what consequences are you talking about? Vexthul's smile became evil. Look outside, human. Suddenly, space around Kepler Station lit up with hundreds of lights. The Zephyrian fleet had decloaked. 300 massive warships appeared from behind the moon. Each ship was twice the size of the biggest human vessel. The alien ships formed a circle around the station. Their weapons were pointed at the 5 human ships. To anyone watching, it looked like a hopeless situation. You see, Ambassador, Vexthul said with satisfaction, you are trapped. Your tiny fleet cannot fight our mighty armada. Surrender now and some of your people might live. Admiral Kextar opened a communication channel to the human ships. He expected to see fear on human faces. Instead, Admiral Morrison appeared on screen, still drinking his coffee. Well, well, Jake said calmly. Right on schedule. Kextar was confused. Human, do you not understand your situation? You are outnumbered 60-1. Surrender now and we might let you live as slaves. Jake finished his coffee and set the cup down. Admiral Kextar, I think there has been a misunderstanding. What misunderstanding? The alien demanded. You think you are in control here? Jake said with a small smile. In the conference room, Helen stood up slowly. Her kind expression was gone. Now she looked like what she really was. A dangerous negotiator who had never lost a treaty discussion. High Commander Vexthul, Helen said. I believe there has been a mistake. Vexthul was still grinning at his victory. What mistake? You are defeated. The mistake, Helen said, is that you think you are the hunters in this situation. Captain Martinez stepped forward. His hand was now resting on his weapon. Ma'am, should I arrest him for war crimes now or wait until we finish destroying his fleet? Vexthul looked confused. What are you talking about? My fleet has you surrounded. Helen walked to the window and looked out at the alien ships. Yes, your fleet is here. But where do you think our fleet is? Your fleet? Vexthul laughed. You only brought 5 ships. Helen turned back to face him. Commander, humans have a saying. It goes like this: trust but verify. We have verified that you are a threat. Now we are going to eliminate that threat. On his flagship, Admiral Kextar was beginning to feel worried. The humans were too calm. Something was wrong. Scan the area again, he ordered his officers. Look for hidden human ships. Sir, our sensors show nothing but empty space, but the sensors were wrong. Hidden throughout the asteroid field around Kepler Station, 500 human warships waited in silence. Their new hiding technology made them invisible to alien detection systems. Jake Morrison looked at his watch. It was time. All ships, he announced calmly. The aliens have revealed themselves. You know what to do. What happened next would be remembered forever. Space around Kepler Station suddenly erupted with light as 500 human warships decloaked at the same time. Ships appeared from every direction, behind asteroids, inside gas clouds, even hidden inside the station's docking bays. The human fleet was not just bigger than the alien fleet. It was also more advanced. Each human ship was armed with weapons the Zephyrians had never seen before. Admiral Kextar stared at his screens in shock. Where there had been empty space a moment before, now there were hundreds of human warships. His 60-to-1 advantage had become a 2-to-1 disadvantage. Impossible, he whispered. How did they hide so many ships? In the conference room, Vexthul watched his mighty fleet surrounded by human vessels. His confident smile disappeared. You tricked us, he said. Helen nodded. Yes, we did. Just like you tried to trick us. She sat back down at the conference table and pushed new papers toward the alien commander. These are humanity's terms for peace, Helen said. I suggest you read them carefully. The space around Kepler Station became a nightmare for the Zephyrian fleet. What had seemed like an easy victory was now turning into their worst defeat in centuries. All ships attack now, Admiral Morrison commanded from the bridge of the UES Defiance. The human fleet moved like a perfectly trained dance. Ships that had been hiding for hours suddenly came alive. Weapons that the aliens had never seen before lit up the darkness of space. Captain Danny Rogers piloted his stealth destroyer, the UES Shadowhawk, through the alien formation. Danny was young but experienced. He had learned to fly ships by dodging asteroids in the outer solar system. Now he used those skills to avoid enemy fire. This is Rogers to all destroyers, Danny announced over the radio. Target their cruisers first. We need to break their formation. Danny's ship fired plasma torpedoes at 3 alien cruisers. The weapons hit with incredible power. The alien shields lasted only seconds before they collapsed. Explosions ripped through the enemy ships. On the other side of the battle, Captain Kate Williams commanded the main attack. Her massive dreadnought led a formation of 20 heavy cruisers against the alien flagship. All guns fire at will, Kate ordered. The UES Defiance opened fire with every weapon it had. Quantum cannons sent beams of pure energy across space. Particle accelerators launched projectiles at impossible speeds. Gravity bombs warped space itself to crush enemy ships. Admiral Kextar watched in horror as his flagship shook under the human attack. His ship was the biggest and strongest in the Zephyrian fleet, but it was no match for advanced human weapons. Damage report, Kextar shouted over the noise of explosions. Sir, our shields are failing. Hull breaches on decks 5 through 12. Main weapons are offline. Kextar could not believe what was happening. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered 12 star systems. They had never lost a major battle. Now they were being destroyed by humans, a species they thought was primitive. Meanwhile, Dr. Carter's quantum mines were doing their deadly work. From his position on a hidden cruiser, Sam watched his computer screen with satisfaction. Lieutenant Johnson, activate Mine Cluster 7, Sam said to Amy. Amy pressed a button on her control panel. In space, 30 quantum mines that looked like harmless rocks suddenly exploded. The explosions created a chain reaction that tore apart 6 alien destroyers. Perfect shot, Doctor, Amy said with excitement. The aliens never saw it coming. That is the point, Sam replied. They think they know everything about human technology. They are about to learn how wrong they are. The quantum mines were just the beginning. Human ships were using weapons that broke the known laws of physics. Temporal disruptors slowed down enemy ships. Reality shapers created black holes that pulled alien vessels to their destruction. Marine Colonel Pete Davis commanded the assault teams that boarded enemy ships. Pete and his soldiers used jump pods to travel from human ships to alien vessels. Once inside, they fought hand-to-hand combat with the enemy. Squad 3, secure the engine room. Pete ordered through his helmet radio. Squad 5, take the bridge. Show these lizards how humans fight. The Marines moved through alien corridors like deadly shadows. Their armor protected them from enemy weapons. Their training made them faster and smarter than the alien soldiers. In one alien cruiser, Pete faced off against a Zephyrian warrior twice his size. The alien had 4 arms and razor-sharp claws. It looked like it could tear Pete apart easily. "Human," the alien growled. "You will die for this insult to our empire." Pete smiled inside his helmet. "Sorry, but I have dinner plans with my wife tomorrow. I cannot die today." The fight lasted 30 seconds. Pete used moves he had learned in Earth's Special Forces. The alien warrior was strong, but Pete was smarter. When the fight ended, the alien was unconscious and Pete was calling for backup to secure the ship. Back in the main battle, the tide was turning completely. Human ships were destroying alien vessels faster than anyone had thought possible. The Zephyrian fleet was falling apart. Captain Tony Clark commanded the communication ship that coordinated the human attack. Tony was responsible for making sure all human ships worked together perfectly. "Admiral Morrison," Tony reported, "enemy casualties are at 60%. They are trying to retreat, but our faster ships are cutting off their escape routes." Jake nodded with grim satisfaction. "Do not let any of them escape, Captain. We need to send a message to the entire Zephyrian Empire." The battle was becoming a rout. Alien ships that tried to run away were chased down by human fighters. Ships that tried to stand and fight were overwhelmed by superior weapons and tactics. In the conference room on Kepler Station, High Commander Vexthul watched his fleet being destroyed. His yellow eyes were wide with shock and fear. "How is this possible?" he asked Ambassador Foster. "Our intelligence said humans were barely capable of space travel." Helen looked out the window at the battle. Human ships were dancing between alien vessels, destroying them with incredible precision. "Commander, your intelligence was very old," Helen said calmly. "You based your plans on information from 20 years ago. Humans learn very quickly." Captain Martinez stood behind Vexthul with his weapon drawn. "Ma'am, should we call off the attack if he surrenders?" Helen considered this. Outside, alien ships were exploding every few seconds. The once mighty Zephyrian fleet was becoming space debris. "That depends on the commander," Helen said. "Are you ready to discuss new terms for peace?" Vexthul looked at the papers Helen had placed on the table. These new terms were very different from what the aliens had originally planned. "These terms are impossible," Vexthul protested. "You want us to withdraw from all human territory. You want us to pay for the damage we caused. You want us to limit the size of our military." "Yes," Helen said simply. "Those are our terms." "But this would make the Zephyrian Empire weak," Vexthul complained. Helen's expression became cold. "Commander, you came here planning to destroy the human race. You brought 300 warships to a peace meeting. Did you think there would be no consequences?" Outside, the battle was reaching its end. Most of the alien fleet was destroyed or disabled. Only about 50 Zephyrian ships remained intact, and they were trying desperately to surrender. Admiral Morrison opened a communication channel to the surviving alien ships. "This is Admiral Morrison of the human space fleet," he announced. "You have 2 choices. Surrender immediately and live, or continue fighting and die. You have 60 seconds to decide." The response was immediate. Alien ships began broadcasting surrender signals on all frequencies. The proud Zephyrian fleet, which had conquered worlds and destroyed entire civilizations, was begging humans for mercy. Dr. Nancy Price, the fleet's xenobiologist, was analyzing the alien communications from her laboratory ship. Nancy was an expert on alien cultures and psychology. "Admiral," Nancy reported, "the aliens are completely demoralized. They cannot understand how we defeated them so easily." "What are they saying?" Jake asked. Nancy listened to the alien radio chatter. "They are calling us demons and monsters. They think we used magic to hide our fleet and create impossible weapons." Jake laughed. "Magic? Nancy, tell them the truth. We used science, planning, and good old human paranoia." The Battle of Kepler Station was over. In less than 2 hours, the human fleet had destroyed or captured most of the enemy force. Not a single human ship was lost. Only a few were even damaged. As the surviving alien ships limped away under human escort, word of the victory began to spread across the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire, which had seemed unstoppable, had been crushed by humans in their first major encounter. In the conference room, Vexthul signed the new peace treaty with shaking hands. The terms were harsh but fair. The aliens would leave human space, pay reparations, and think twice before threatening Earth again. "This is not over," Vexthul said as he finished signing. Helen smiled politely. "Commander, yes it is. It is very much over." As the alien delegation prepared to leave, Captain Martinez escorted them to their ship. Before Vexthul boarded, he turned back to face the humans. "How did you know?" he asked. "How did you know we were planning to betray you?" Helen looked at the alien commander with something like pity. "Because," she said, "humans have been betrayed before. We learned from those experiences. The most important lesson we learned is this: hope for the best, but prepare for the worst." The Zephyrian ship left Kepler Station and began its long journey home. Behind them, the human fleet began collecting their new prisoners and salvaging useful technology from the destroyed alien ships. The peace treaty was signed, but it was humanity's version of peace. The galaxy had learned a new lesson. Humans might talk about peace, but they were always ready for war. 3 days after the battle, Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance looking at the reports from his fleet commanders. The numbers were almost too good to believe. Commander Tony Clark approached with the final casualty report. Tony had been working without sleep to count the damage and losses from the battle. "Admiral," Tony said, "the final numbers are in. We destroyed 237 enemy ships. We captured 51 more. Only 12 alien vessels escaped, and they were badly damaged." Jake nodded slowly. "And our losses?" "0 ships destroyed, sir. We have 17 ships with minor damage. Total human casualties: 12 wounded, none killed." Jake had fought in many battles during his career, but he had never seen such a complete victory. The Zephyrian Empire had sent their best fleet to destroy humanity. Instead, humans had destroyed them with almost no losses. "Sir," Tony continued, "we also captured over 10,000 alien prisoners, including 6 high-ranking officers and 3 fleet commanders." "Good," Jake said. "Make sure they are treated well. We are not like them. We do not hurt prisoners." Meanwhile, on Earth, the news of the victory was spreading quickly. In the United Nations building, President Maria Lopez was meeting with the world's leaders to discuss what the victory meant for humanity's future. "Ladies and gentlemen," President Lopez said, "in one battle, we have changed humanity's position in the galaxy. We are no longer a weak species hiding on one planet. We are now a major power that other aliens will respect and fear." The British Prime Minister spoke up. "Madam President, what should we do about the Zephyrian colonies near our territory?" "We will follow the peace treaty," the President answered. "They have agreed to withdraw from all systems near human space. We will make sure they keep that promise." Back at Kepler Station, Ambassador Helen Foster was working on the details of the new peace agreement. The original treaty that the aliens had brought was now worthless paper. Helen was writing a completely new document. Dr. Nancy Price sat across from Helen, helping to translate the treaty into the Zephyrian language. Nancy had learned their language during the war, and she wanted to make sure there were no misunderstandings. "Ambassador," Nancy said, "the aliens are having trouble accepting some of these terms. They say that paying reparations for 20 years is too long." Helen looked up from her work. "Dr. Price, they spent 3 years attacking our colonies and killing our people. 20 years of payments is very reasonable." "They also object to the military limitations," Nancy continued. "They do not want to reduce their fleet size by half." "That is not negotiable," Helen said firmly. "They prove they cannot be trusted with a large military. If they want peace, they will accept our terms." The new peace treaty was very different from what the Zephyrians had originally planned. Instead of humans surrendering, the aliens were giving up territory, weapons, and resources. Instead of becoming slaves, humans were becoming the dominant power in this part of the galaxy. Captain Joe Martinez entered the room carrying a secure communication device. "Ambassador, Admiral Morrison wants to speak with you." Helen activated the device, and Jake's face appeared on the screen. Behind him, she could see the bridge of his flagship, where officers were still celebrating their victory. "Admiral," Helen said, Congratulations on a perfect battle. How are the prisoners being treated? Very well, Jake answered. Better than they treated our people, I can promise you that. But I am calling about something else. We have intercepted alien communications from their home world. Helen became serious. What are they saying? The Zephyrian government is in chaos, Jake explained. Some leaders want to send another fleet to avenge their defeat. Others want to surrender completely and beg for mercy. What do you recommend? Helen asked. Jake was quiet for a moment. I think we should visit their homeworld personally. Not to attack, but to make sure they understand the new reality. Helen considered this. It was a dangerous idea, but it might prevent a longer war. How many ships would you take? She asked. 50, Jake said. Enough to defend ourselves, but not enough to look like an invasion force. Make it 100 ships, Helen decided. I want them to see that our victory at Kepler Station was not luck. While the diplomats planned for the future, the human fleet was learning from the battle. Engineers studied the captured alien technology. Scientists examined the wreckage of enemy ships. Everyone wanted to understand how humans had won so easily. Dr. Sam Carter was in his laboratory, taking apart a Zephyrian plasma cannon. Sam had always been curious about how alien technology worked. Now he had dozens of examples to study. Lieutenant Amy Johnson helped him by holding tools and recording data. Dr. Carter, their weapons do not seem very advanced. Why did everyone think they were so powerful? Sam looked up from his work. Lieutenant, their technology is not bad, but it is old. They have not improved their weapons in hundreds of years. They became lazy because they always won their battles. But humans have only been in space for a few decades, Amy pointed out. Exactly, Sam said with a smile. We are still learning and improving. Every year our technology gets better. They stopped trying to get better because they thought they were already the best. This was an important lesson. The Zephyrian Empire had ruled 12 star systems, but they had become comfortable and overconfident. They thought their old ways were good enough. Humans, on the other hand, were always trying new ideas and better methods. Captain Danny Rogers was studying the battle recordings with his squadron of destroyer pilots. Danny wanted to understand why human tactics had worked so well against the alien fleet. Look at this, Danny said, pointing to a section of the recording. The aliens flew in straight lines and perfect formations. They never changed their patterns. One of the younger pilots spoke up. But Captain, formations are supposed to be good for battle coordination. Yes, Danny agreed. But not when your enemy can predict exactly where you will be. Humans learned long ago to be unpredictable in battle. The aliens never learned that lesson. The recordings showed that human ships had flown in chaotic patterns that confused the enemy. Human captains made quick decisions and changed their plans constantly. The aliens could not keep up with the constantly changing human tactics. 2 weeks after the battle, a small human fleet arrived at the Zephyrian homeworld. Admiral Morrison commanded the fleet from the UES Defiance. Ambassador Foster was with him, ready to negotiate the final details of the peace treaty. The Zephyrian homeworld was a large planet covered with cities and military bases. Hundreds of alien ships orbited the planet, but none of them approached the human fleet. Word of the Kepler Station battle had reached every corner of the Empire. Emperor Zexhan, the supreme ruler of the Zephyrians, contacted the human fleet personally. The Emperor was very old, with scales that had turned gray with age. His voice was tired and defeated. Admiral Morrison, the Emperor said, I wish to speak with you about peace. I am listening. Your Majesty, Jake replied politely. My people tell me that humans have incredible weapons and magic powers, the Emperor said. They say you can hide entire fleets and create impossible weapons. Jake smiled. Your Majesty, we do not use magic. We use science and careful planning. Then how did you defeat our best fleet so easily? Because, Jake explained, humans never stop learning. Every battle teaches us something new. Every mistake makes us stronger. Your people became too comfortable with their old ways. The Emperor was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke again. What do you want from us, Admiral? Peace, Jake said simply. Real peace, not the fake peace your commanders tried to trick us with. If your empire can truly accept peace, then humans will be your friends. But if you threaten us again, the next battle will be at your homeworld. The Emperor understood. The Zephyrian Empire had two choices: accept peace with humans as equals or face destruction. 3 days later, the final peace treaty was signed. The ceremony took place on the Zephyrian homeworld. in their most important government building. Representatives from both species attended. Ambassador Foster signed for humanity. Emperor Zexon signed for the Zephyrian Empire. The treaty established new borders, trade agreements, and rules for future contact between the two civilizations. But the most important part of the treaty was what it represented. For the first time in their history, the Zephyrians had acknowledged another species as their equal. Humans had earned their respect through strength and wisdom. As the human fleet prepared to return home, Admiral Morrison sent a message to all ships in the fleet. "Today, we have achieved something remarkable," Jake announced. "We have turned our greatest enemy into a potential friend. We have shown the galaxy that humans are not just another weak species to be conquered." Captain Williams spoke from the bridge of her cruiser. "Admiral, what happens now?" Jake looked out at the stars. Somewhere in those stars were other alien civilizations. Some might be friendly. Others might be hostile. But now they would all know that humans were not easy prey. "Now we go home," Jake said. "We celebrate our victory, we learn from our experiences, and we prepare for whatever comes next." The human fleet left the Zephyrian system and began the long journey back to Earth. Behind them, they left a galaxy that had learned an important lesson.